Alright everybody, what you're looking at is some stuff of my grandfather's. This is kind of a tribute video to him. He was in the Marine Corps during Korea. He enlisted at the age of 19, and I just wanted to make a little video about him, honoring his service and everything. His name is Bradley Robert Blanton Jr., and he was born on July 8th, 1929, and he died on November 25th, 1988. Unfortunately, I was only about 2.5 years old, and I don't really have any memories of him. I was born May 10th of 86, so obviously being a small child, I don't remember him. I do have pictures with him, but don't remember. I wish he was still alive. I would love to hear some of his war stories and everything. But so I'm making this video as a tribute to him. Like I said, Bradley Robert Blanton Jr. He was in the Marines during Korea. He was actually, if you've ever heard of the Frozen Chosen, he was part of the Marines that were completely surrounded by the Chinese forces, and they were outnumbered. I don't think anybody actually knows the exact number, but it was probably 15 to 1 or 20 to 1. They were completely surrounded, and they had to fight their way out, and they fought for miles and miles and days, and they finally made it to safety. They're real tough guys. They went through a lot, but so I've got an old photo album with random pictures and stuff of my grandfather and some of his buddies. A lot of pictures missing. Family members have gotten them, but this is one of my favorite pictures here. I would have loved this to be a larger picture. I'd love to get it framed. I just like the way it looks with his binoculars and everything. He was a staff sergeant. He was a forward observer in H Company of the 3rd Battalion, 5th Marine Regiment. He was attached to the 81 millimeter mortar platoon. So some of his buddies, him being goofy right there. He just got his buzz cut right there. He saw a lot of things, which he actually wrote a book about right here. It wasn't published, but it's called Korea Remembered by Bradley Robert Blanton Jr., former Staff Sergeant, United States Marine Corps. And he talks about a lot of things in there that he saw and went through. He wasn't actually wounded in battle, but there was an instance where a mortar went off real close to him, and it actually blew him up in the air, completely in the air. He said everything was in slow motion when he came back to the ground, and it killed, I believe it was 3 or 4 of the guys around him. And either he was the sole survivor or one of 2 in the little group of men that survived that blast. Like I said, it's all in the book. He saw a lot, and like I said, I would love to hear some of his stories. This right here is an old article from the Memphis Commercial Appeal. That's him right there. He's a Sergeant Blanton, and a couple other guys. This talks about them being surrounded. It's around Christmas time. It talks about how they're being surrounded, but basically letting everybody know that they are alive. They're just in a bad position. My great grandmother, which was his mother, she was all worried about her son being off to battle, and she said that it wouldn't be like Christmas without him there. And so she kept the Christmas tree up and lights and everything, and until he was able to come back home, because she said she was going to have Christmas with him no matter what day it is or what month of the year. It didn't matter. And I believe he opened his Christmas presents, I'm thinking it was around June or July. But it sounds kind of silly, but it was something special she wanted to do with my grandfather, her son. But I've got his discharge papers here. He He was discharged on August 1st of 1952. Like I said, he was in right at 4 years, honorably discharged. Something else that's cool is I have his scorebook here for I guess that's the M1 carbine, and I don't know if it's the M1 Garand. I believe it is, but not all the pages are filled out, but some markings and stuff in here. But so these are just a few of the things that I have. I would have liked to have had his medals. He had a Bronze Star, a Silver Star, and one other thing, I can't remember what it was, and a folded American flag, all framed and everything, at my grandmother's house. I've got an ex-uncle who took advantage of my grandmother when she had Alzheimer's and stole it from her house, along with his military uniform that you see in those two pictures. His Marine Dress Blues uniform, and he probably auctioned them or sold them for a little of nothing, and I owe him a punch in the mouth for doing that. I would love to find his medals and uniform, which is probably just a shot in the dark, but if any of you happen to come across, like I said, his name's Bradley Robert Blanton Jr., his set of medals or uniform, please contact me. I'd love to get it back. But anyways, just thought I would put this little video together for him. Like I said, I would have loved to have known him, and had a relationship with him, but anyways, as always, thank you for watching. Please subscribe to my channel. I do have a lot of good videos on there, gun videos, military videos. I'm big into that stuff. If you like that kind of stuff, like it, subscribe, tell people, share it. I do greatly appreciate it. Comment. I love to, talk to different people and interact with you. If you have any comments or questions or anything, hit me up anytime. I'm JDB09, and I thank you for watching.